You didn't expect me to come back. Yeah. I'm back. Now, politics. Politics. Politics, politics, politics. What are we talking about every single day? Politics. Especially now these days. Like Trump was a very good deal of politics involved. Biden has a lot of politics involved too. So like if there's any political office, then there's obviously got to be politics. And when there's politics, there's people screaming at each other because they can't tell whether Trump or Biden is the best president. Now, you probably would be an adult if you have a family. That's nice, and the kids would sit in the back seat. You and your husband or wife or anything would just be talking to each other about politics, and then they start stabbing each other with their words. And meanwhile, the kids are like, "What is politics?" No. This is not true. Actually, kids, they are listening. They can hear what you're saying. It's obvious, okay? So just don't think that you are powerful enough that kids won't understand what the hell you are even trying to say. Because turns out kids can understand a lot of politics. And I have experience with that with my two best friends. And they're also best enemies with each other, but best friends with me, and they're always fighting to get me to be their best friend. Two people who I am not going to be naming their names because I don't really have permission and I don't really have their contact message anymore. So, I don't know. Just work what I have here. So a long time ago, I have a deleted video from my older channel where I talk about them. So I'll just use the names that I use there. Zachary and Martian. Welcome back. I'm sorry I deleted your soaring video. Here's a new one, and more people will be watching. Okay? So enjoy your fame. Now, Zachary and Martian had a weird relationship. They hated each other. But there was this one instance where they teamed up together against me because of politics. Now, at that time, I had absolutely no idea what Trump had done. So, of course, I was like a supporter of whoever was president at the time. So, I actually did not know what Trump ever did. So, I was just like, oh, Trump's president. Must be because he's good. I'm a Trumpist. So, I was a supporter of Trump because I have no idea what he ever did. Now, Zachary and Martian, they both knew what Trump sometimes does, but they were supporters of the Democratic Party, so they both hate Trump together, which is like, finally, they're teaming up against their best friend. Woo! So I was at lunch. And they were like, Trump? You know how Trump is a dumbass? Like, Trump is such a dumbass, right? And Martian is like, oh yeah, Trump is such a dumbass, right, Andrew? And I'm like, I'm a supporter of Trump. And then they just both look at me and they're like, oh! So then they get into a conversation with me about how, about a bunch of lies about Trump. Because, people try to make Trump look as bad as possible so that Biden can win the election. And hopefully we all learned our lesson because Biden isn't so much of an active president. He's more like a ex-president who plays golf all day long. But they still were trying to convince me that Trump was bad. Some of their examples was Trump literally said that to kill your dogs and cats and to drown your plants by not giving them anything to stay alive. Now, he never said that because I know that because I decided to watch all of rambling speeches, which equivalent of 1 week of wasted time because he gave way too many speeches that were just him talking about how everything must be blamed on China and Obama and Biden, or like the Democratic Party and all that stuff. But still, he never said that. And they were continuing rambling on about together. They were sitting next to each other for the first time in centuries. And it would only last for about 10 minutes before they went back shooting at each other, starting a great Nerf war to kill each other. So, they were giving me a bunch of examples about why president, yes, they're talking about the president. They're talking about how politics works and how the politics of the Republican Party isn't good. Very not good, like very bad. So yes, they understand how to talk about politics. And I do too, because I made a very weak argument against them, I guess. But in the middle of it, I didn't realize that they didn't know much about politics because we're hiding a lot of stuff from them. Because we're basically like, Mom, why are people social distancing and wearing masks? And then they're like, oh, it's a new fashion trend. Did you see that person? They coughed. And while they were talking about all that stuff, looks like the parents had something very important from them, aka the literal law. And what they said was, if you're a supporter of Trump, then that means you need to go to the military. And I'm like, Trump is only going to be president for like 8 years at most, maybe more if he wants to, but he's going to die soon. And also, I'm pretty sure that you always need to go to the military no matter what. Well, Biden is better because we don't need to go to the military. Dude. Curry. Huh? Because yes, no matter how you are, you need to like apply for the military. They're gonna check you up, and if you're too obese, they're just gonna throw you into the trash can. And if you're too skinny, they're just gonna smush you into a ball and throw you away. But if you're fit and ready for the military, they're just gonna be like, all right, unless you have an important job like being a YouTuber. So, I don't need to go to the military. Oh wait, that's not how it works. Awesome. And also, they also missed that, you need to be at least 17 to go into the military. So, yeah, they're missing out a lot of stuff. So, yes, that conversation, which lasts 10 minutes, of two kids siding together and sitting on the same bus seat. And then after 10 minutes, they go apart and go murder each other. I'm going to talk about the war in another video. It's not going to be animated or like whatever I did back then because I have no pieces of paper to use. But I will talk about that later. Here we learned something, didn't we? We learned that 1, you shouldn't hide stuff from your kids. And 2, kids can understand like every single thing that you're talking about when it comes to politics. And don't try to tell them that the President of the United States of America is still Trump and not Biden. Because they know and they're following you. And soon, we'll have you in our grasp!